Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to Comic Book Team Up on John's Long Box. I'm here with RJ from the Fourth Age and Renzo Rodriguez. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hello, hello everyone. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are one of my favorite people in the world. So thanks for showing up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Renzo's concerned because he says his internet is a little wonky. So if he freezes up or goes robotic or anything like that, just let us know in the chat. So I think that everybody, I hope everybody knows that I have an active campaign right now of Heroic Tales, and the artist on it is Renzo Rodriguez. And Renzo Rodriguez, I stole him from this guy right down here, RJ, who does the Fourth Age. And I guess it's time. This is an intervention, RJ. Renzo's never working with you again. I'm sorry to say about this live in front of all these people, but he's finishing up the commitments, but you got to get somebody else.
I'll tell you, I got to say, for the first time, Renzo, when we did the first book for the Thomas Valiant, I only had it printed in graphic novel format, but with the Redemption of Kit Fox, with having a floppy in my hand with my words and your art, that was just, it looks like a real comic. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
I know. In fact, this morning I sent to RJ 3-page, so I hope he liked those for Thomas Valiant, and I hope it's everything cool, because I'm very delayed. I know I'm the first one to admit it, that I'm very slow. I'm very slow.
No, I have no complaints. I have no,
me either.
But it's worth it. All kidding aside, I read Thomas Valiant. The words were garbage, but let's just say that the art. I love Thomas Valiant, and I looked at the art, and I said, this makes me feel like a kid reading a superhero comic book. Like I was feeling like George Perez and Joe Sinnott were teaming up with the Avengers. I expected to turn the page and see Count Nefaria knocking down a building on Captain America. It was so good. And I was like, I want to do a comic book. I had scripts written, but who am I to write a comic book? So I asked RJ his opinion, and then I said, would you be hurt or upset or mad at me if I asked Renzo to draw? And RJ was like, nah, he's a professional. He wants to do some work, So I approached you, and after seeing your work, I'm like, if you don't want to work with me, then Heroic Tales is done. I can't picture anybody else drawing it. I got guys at work who are not into comics, and I'll show them your work, and they're like, I'm like, I'm making a comic, and they just think it's this goofball in the corners. They think it's gonna be garbage, and then I show them the page, the campaign page. These are and like, oh my god, this is good, and they're showing it. You know what I mean? Like, and so.
The colors makes all the difference. The colors makes all pop up, and it looks so good, so great.
I made the joke, and then I realized it's not a joke. It's absolute. I assembled the Avengers. So we got the Avengers going. Like issue 2 I hit some bumps with issue 1 because I didn't know what I was doing. We got that sandpaper out. Issue 2 is it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Cool. Can't wait to read the script.
Yeah, I think I'm doing some changes because I wrote the script years ago. So I'm doing some changes, and I'll send you the script for issue 2. Renzo, you probably don't even know, but for Heroic Tales going forward, it's going to be the Patriarch, because everybody seems to like the Patriarch, and I didn't want to just swap it out. But when you flip the comic over, there's going to be another cover, and it's going to be another hero. So issue number 2 is going to be Mary Sue, and then you flip it over, and it's going to be Patriarch. So you're going to be doing 2 stories in every comic. I'm going to work this guy until, like I joke, but I want to put this guy's kids through college.
Yeah. I need it. We are living very negative times, so I need all the work I can do.
I'll try to give you as much work as I can. But that's up to the people, guys. We funded $3,000. On my first comic book. I'm beyond ecstatic. We unlocked our first stretch goal. Renzo drew a card for the Patriarch. We got more cards. You know, I got Nick Axe is going to do the design for the back of the card now. I didn't want to. Let's be realistic. I didn't want to pay for it unless I knew we were going to hit it. So we're working on the cards now, and every 1,000 after this, we're going to do another card. And Aaron from Wolfsbane Comics, thank you. Patriarch looks like a noble character. If you look at Renzo, there's the inspiration. Look at that guy. Look, cool beard, the salt hair.
I just miss the muscles and all the body.
Oh, Nick is on to me, RJ. You got to watch this cat. He's trying to steal all your artists. That's been a long-term joke that I've been saying. RJ started a channel. I started a channel. RJ does interviews. I do interviews. He makes a comic. I make a comic. He gets Renzo. I get Renzo. He gets Nick Axe. I get Nick Axe. Who else you got, RJ? Who's still working with you?
Who's still working with me? Oh, I don't know. Too many people right now. Oh, you got Mike working for you too now, don't you? Is Mike doing a cover for you?
Mike Kustovich. That's right.
Yes.
Mike Kustovich. He just sent me he's mailing it to me too. Oh my God, I can't believe this cover. I don't want to reveal it yet because it shows the main bad guy. But Mike Kustovich loved the bad guy, so he's like, "Can I draw him?" So by the time that's on Indiegogo, ideally people should have the Fund My Comic issues in their hand. So I it's not going to be a spoiler if people are already reading the comic. But so Renzo is doing the main cover, and then on Fund My Comic, I'm going to have a Pat Ardrick cover, and then when I go to Kickstarter, I'm going to have a Michael T. Gilbert variant cover, and then when I go to Indiegogo, it'll be a Mike Kustovich cover. So there'll be 4 covers. Renzo's is the main cover, but now there's going to be 2 covers for every comic. You know, there's going to be the Patriarch and then the other character.
Master Hobo says, maybe one day RJ will steal someone from John. I already did that.
Take
John,
my wife, please. Take my wife, please.
No,
she's upstairs now putting the special green stuff in my soup.
John lent me his letterer there for I think it was he did Rampaging Thor. John's
Bill Williams. Bill Williams
Yep.
is working with you.
Yeah,
what a great guy. I kind of feel bad saying my letterer, but I reached out to Bill Williams because I didn't realize it. I missed it when I did a Google search. He had a comic in the 90s called Heroic Tales. Forgive me for coughing. So I went out of my way to talk to him. We hit it off. I said, come on my channel. And then after we're talking, he goes, do you need a letterer? And he does a comic called Pantheon. He writes it. And what's his name? Phil Weldon does the art. It is a phenomenal comic. It's so good. It's like old school superhero comics, and the lettering is outstanding. I was like, really? You want to letter my comic? This guy did work for Bill Willingham, and he wants to letter my comic? I was like, absolutely. You know, so, and then he said that anybody else need letterers. So guys, Bill Williams, if anybody's interested, DM me. I'll get you his contact information. Mike Kustovich just asked me if anybody needs inking work. You know, he says he really enjoys inking other people's work. So, you know, one thing people helped me. I feel I need to, you know, help other people too. I don't understand jealousy and counting other people's monies and gossip and rumors. That's all nonsense. It's about comic books. And if Mike Kustovich is making more comic books, it's only good. If Bill Willingham is making more, I mean, Bill William too. If they're making more comics, it's only a better world. And now other people could talk because I'm talking way too much.
I'm sorry because I'm a little rusty on these stream issues, and I need to talk more.
Yeah, I want to get back to what you said. If you read Heroic Tales and the Patriarch, you will grow a manly beard like myself and Renzo. RJ has a beard, but it's his only clothes. He wears his beard, so he's a little shy and embarrassed about it. But trust me, he's and Nick Axe, he needs to read more Patriarch because what he calls a beard is, quite frankly, disappointing. Everybody loves Renzo's work. Renzo, again, no joke. The guys at work who, you know, these are guys that are like in their late 40s, 50s who maybe read comic books 30 years ago. They look at your artwork and they're like, oh my God, this is so good. And they all say the same thing. Comic books aren't that good anymore. Like when they see cartoons that are on, you know, like what do they call that? The Cal Art stuff. You know, they look at your art and they're like, this takes me back. Yeah.
No,
You're
thank
doing
you.
exactly what I wanted. Was like an old school. I say Renzo's artwork is John Byrne and George Perez. It's sweet, sweet love, and that child's name was Renzo Rodriguez.
Thank you very much. I sometimes when people match my work with my style with John Byrne or George Perez, I feel like I'm super. My ego go away, but I need to work more because sometimes I get very slow and I need to keep up my work and keep trying to improve my work at the same time and match all the work er- um, um, I really need to improve myself to be honest.
Uh, when I get an email notification that Renzo sends me drawings, I get so excited, but I don't want to look at them while I'm at work. Like most of the time, I'll take like an hour-long train ride home from work. For my commute. That's when I look at Renzo's art, and I just love it. You know, I'm like, oh my god, I wrote these words, and Renzo turned them into pictures. And Renzo, how many times do I ask you to change things?
No,
Never.
I think
Yeah, like, that's exactly what I want. You know what I mean?
yes,
You know what I mean? And the one time I asked you to change something, I felt so bad. And Renzo, like
nah,
10
don't
minutes
worry, don't worry.
because you did it on digital. I forgot you could just remove layers, you know.
Yes,
But I'm thinking you're erasing and redrawing. But
yeah. I'm trying to get back to the old roots and trying to make more real paper and with inks because I've been watching some videos and I think we can make more money selling the originals. So I'm trying, but I feel so rusty with all the inks, the nibs, the brushes, but I little by little I'm trying to improve myself on that field.
And I don't know if anybody's seen it, but Renzo just posted a new page for Thomas Valiant #2. That's
Yes.
a actual drawn page on Twitter today. Was it today? I think it was today.
is that the person
Yesterday?
peeling down from the worm's eye perspective?
Yes, the ninja. It's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the 3 pages I sent today to RJ because I'm very back. I'm very delayed with those pages and have all the ninja stuff and it looks very good. I like how it turning on those panels and I really like how it looks. I hope the people like to.
I Nick X says I dance with the person I came with as long as RJ wants me to draw a page. Yeah, Nick X is one of the artists on RJ's Crom the Destroyer, and oh my god, I don't know, I forget if everybody's seen it or if I'm privy to some of this art, but it is outstanding. Nick, in a healthy medium, Renzo and Nick X would be the most. Maybe I shouldn't say this because then they'll both leave. But Renzo and Nick X are two of the best comic book artists, and that's no exaggeration. I forget who said it, and I said yes. I'm absolutely lucky to have Renzo work with me. And Nick X, he's been doing stuff behind the scenes because I'm not a good person with computers. Nick has been helping me with like formatting and keeping everything organized. So in a very I consider Nick my editor, you know, the guy who's helping me. And it's funny because we're putting together the credits, and he's like, "What credits do you want?" And I'm like, you know, Renzo artist, Daniel De La Silva Rodriguez colorist, me writer. And then I was joking around. I was like, Nick X is the turd polisher because he took this crummy and made it so good. So Nick X, hats off to the turd polisher. Master Hobo says, "Oh, Thomas Valiant issue #1, and I enjoyed it." I'm talking a lot, but I just want to say I'm always talking a lot. Why do I even say that? I loved all the characters in the design in Thomas Valiant. I was just like, oh my god, this superhero and the costume design. I was like, I play a game. I'm like, this guy could do this. This guy has lightning power, you know. And then you see because the costumes fit. I love all of that. So what do you have to say about Thomas Valiant #1, RJ and Renzo?
Well, I'm just saying that I just gave ideas to Renzo, and Renzo ran with them. That's what we did. So we always, and I love the fact that you do this, Renzo. But we always flip back and forth with ideas for character designs, and we hammer them out. So it is something that work has been put into.
Somebody asked to see some work, and I will always look at Renzo's artwork. And now we're gonna play a game called Make Renzo Blush. Okay, so let's say nice things about Renzo.
I'm a little shallow here because the light is very weak here, but yeah, I can.
Bright lights on. We want to see you blush. But I look at this. Nick Axe did all of this cover dress, and so awesome. I wanted it to look like a old Marvel comic, and he delivered. Nick also did my campaign page. Again, the contribution Nick gave is invaluable. And I'm trying to. I know there's a controversy going on at Comicsgate right now, and this is the only reference. I'm trying to pay Nick Axe in dirty pictures, but he won't take it. He wants money. He's weird like that. But
there's a cover.
Look at this cover. It's so good. I love the logo. This is Pat Broderick. This is not Renzo's artwork, but this is Pat Broderick, a classic artist. He did Firestorm. He did Captain Atom. But this is what I wanted to show. This is what I wanted to show. This is no joke. I think my favorite piece of superhero art of any, from my childhood, from mainstream comics to now. I love this. I was on the train coming home, and I'm like, you know what? On the back cover, I don't want an ad for the printer. No offense to the printer. You only get a chance to make your first comic once. I want the back cover to be something cool. So I was like, what one image would encapsulate the patriarch? And I described this to Renzo. And when he drew this and sent it back to me, I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. And then I sent it to Daniel to color, and I sent it right back to Renzo. Oh my God. This I know it's mine, so I'm biased, but this should be an award-winning piece of comic book art. They should be talking about this in the mainstream corrupt comic book media. This, I said this to my wife, and she gets mad at me when I say things like this. If I die in a car accident tomorrow,
please don't say that.
I had something to do with this piece of art right here. This is just glorious. It takes my breath away. Is it me, or does the patriarch? Yes. Renzo is the patriarch is Renzo's self-insert. He's a manly man.
Yes, I have to admit it. I'm in the new trend of the creators have to write themselves in the comics, and I have to draw myself on the pages.
Renzo and I were doing a Zoom conference, and he was in his white pajamas, and I was like, now that's a superhero.
Yeah. I have to say that with RJ, I use the same method to make the characters, because and the same with John. He sent me the info, all the sketches, and sometimes one picture, and I use the same method with RJ. We have some feedback and some sketches, and that's why the characters look so alive, because we are creating good things here.
Nick Axe always has to keep me humble. So, Renzo brought up that I sent him sketches of the patriarch. Now, Renzo, how bad did you laugh when you saw my art skills?
Nah. I never laugh because I need all the info I can absorb to make to create those characters. So I never laugh. I never mocking about the skills of the writer. I try to figure it out. I try to get inside of the mind of the writer. So don't worry. You can send me any scribbles, and I will try to.
I call Renzo an alchemist. I sent him lumps of coal, and he sent me back gold. I put on Twitter, because I can't find my actual physical piece of paper. I think it got thrown out, but I have the scan that I sent Renzo. So I was like, oh wow, I thought it would be like, because someday, God willing, if there's a collected, I'd like to put like as added footage, like the sketches that I sent Renzo, so we can all laugh at me, and then put next to what he drew. So I'm so glad I have that image. I put it on Twitter, how it began and how it ended. I what added you, Renzo, so you could see it, but you could see the actual original drawing, how bad I am. And somebody asked the tiny portrait in the corner. It's called the corner box. It's called the corner box, and I love comic books with corner boxes. Like here we got the X-Men right here with this John Byrne corner box. I love that. And believe me, when the team is formed, I'm going to ask Renzo to put little heads of all the characters in the corner box. That get into the mind of a writer. John isn't open to him. Oh, RJ, did I hear Renzo right? Did you send him sketches of your characters too?
Oh no, I just sent him. I would take stuff pictures from every which where I could find them. So I never drew anything. It's like here's a half a dozen pictures of different things. Let's combine that into something.
RJ, you can't draw at all, like, because I could draw probably on the level of a severely disabled aardvark or something, but I thought you said as a kid you used to draw. No,
I did, but it takes me. You want to talk about slow drawing? Yeah, it would take me a week to draw something. So I just say, here's some pictures. This is a better indication of what I want.
Knowing that I'm a terrible artist makes me draw fast, because even if I go slow, it's going to be just as garbage. So why prolong? So I'll sketch it out. And I think one night in a fit of frenzy, Renzo, I must have sent you like 12 sketches of other characters.
Yeah, for Mary Sue, for the hello, for the character that looks like Batman. Well,
yeah,
like Batman.
The Raven,
yeah, and
that's issue 3. Renzo can't wait to do that one.
Yeah. First, I have to finish and some pages for RJ, because I was very delighted. But I'm trying to make the possible to make 2 pages from each project. But I'm little by little I'm getting up on those pages.
So Renzo, you're the neutral party here, because Renzo draws Thomas Valiant and Renzo draws the Patriarch. Who would win in a fight?
Man, it's hard question. I don't know. To be honest, I don't want to spoil the secret power from the Patriarch, but I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
It's funny because I don't think super all-powerful superheroes are interesting. They're cool, but to write about them, like I have a super powerful character that has been introduced into the comic, but he's not a main character. He's somebody in the background. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to have a special issue about him sooner or later, but he's too powerful to do. That's boring. He's going to solve every problem, and I think I'm not a skilled enough writer yet to write Superman. You know what I mean? So, but the Patriarch is inspired by that guy. So he's going to have like a similar costume, because he's kind of like portraying himself as more powerful than he is, because that's what a dad does. A dad doesn't let the children know that, we're late on the mortgage. Christmas is coming and we don't have, the car broke down. Do I get presents or do we fix the car? That's dads are always, and then when the kids wake up, they're like, no, don't worry, Junior, we got this. So Patriarch, not that he's lying, not that he's being, deceptive. He's a dad, and he's trying to I got this. So he's kind of like borrowing a Superman archetype, even though Renzo knows he doesn't have powers anything like Superman. I think the Patriarch has a higher attack, but Thomas Valiant is extremely versatile and resilient. It's a tough call. Well, if I make it to $100,000, RJ is going to come to my house. Renzo is going to come to my house, and we're going to role play. We're going to stat out our characters. It's funny because I'll make a big cardboard shield and I'll stick it over RJ's face so you don't see him, which is to your benefit, believe me. And then we're going to role play our characters, and we'll find out who will win in an actual fight. I'm going to be the game master, so Renzo will have to be the Patriarch.
Cool.
A dad's aura of confidence. Absolutely. Oh, RJ or Nick, since you're a moderator, would you mind putting up Crom the Destroyer, the links? for RJ, because this is RJ show too. You know, put Crom the Destroyer, put Thomas Valiant, and Heroic Tales.
I was going to say, John, it's great that Renzo actually gets to draw a heroic Superman type character, because my Superman type character in my book, which is Blue Skies, he's a whiny jerk.
I like the name because I describe my comic as a blue sky, you know, a love letter to blue sky superheroes. It's a term I got from Chuck Dixon that, you know, kind of it means like an old fashioned, but it doesn't mean old fashioned. You know, it's just like a hopeful, you know, my superheroes are supposed to be hopeful. And it's funny because my friend Jimmy, who's the guy that I bounced my script, he says, a lot of your stories are so sad. And I'm like, it's hard to write comedy. It's, you know, but there's hopefulness, but there's also consequences. And again, I don't want to give away the house. Here we go. Check out Crom the Destroyer here. RJ, Renzo, you're not drawing Crom the Destroyer. That's Nick X will be drawing that. But you will you got the Valiant Heroes, right?
Yes. I made the part with Kid Fox, and then I jumped back to Thomas Valiant issue 2, and in the meantime I'm making Heroic Tales.
What is your favorite thing to draw, or favorite?
Ladies. I
gotta
can't
say,
deny.
People love the henchwomen, Boss Moxie's
Yes.
henchwomen. They love, you know, the guys at work were like, oh, wow, check these guys, check these girls out. Yeah.
I have the original piece, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I can show it. Maybe I can show the layouts for the pages I sent to RJ today. This is
you could spoil his comic. I got no
That's
problem.
no problem.
This is just the layout, the pencils.
I'll make it big.
No, this is just the pencils, and then I scan it. That's why it's folded in, because the scanner can accept the double, the spread. So I have to scan it, and then I make the inks in digitally, and yes, the ladies, and
everybody likes your ladies.
Yeah, and I have.
Well, you drew Pony Waves. That was just filled with ladies.
Yes,
sexy vampires. Yes.
Yeah. And this one is the.
I thought you were putting it away. I'm sorry.
The original for the but maybe it's a big spoiler, so maybe I have to show that we have.
You got rewatch that in slow speed.
Yeah. I have originals for Thomas Valiant and for the Heroic Tales, so I have to keep making those originals to make me rich someday.
Oh yeah. It's so glorious. And don't worry, Renzo, I got some sexy ladies for you to draw coming up.
Oh, cool.
And I love the way you draw Patriarch's wife, because if, as you can see, she's got burns on her, but Renzo still makes her sexy. Speaking of which, Renzo, you're gonna love issue 2. I just realized the opening scene.
With Mary Sue or
Mary Sue too she's a sexy Asian, and then the Patriarch story. It's gonna start with a risque scene, you know, but tastefully risque.
Well, that's pretty good, because Renzo's warming himself up with the sexy Asians right now, doing for Thomas Valiant #2. He's doing Red Wing. Yes.
Oh, nice! I can't wait.
Yes,
I can't wait. Yeah, you know, I'm over the moon happy that Renzo, that you're working with me. I can't picture anybody else drawing my characters now. You know, I just so happy. It is a dream come true. My wife actually started crying when she saw the campaign page, mostly because Nick Axe had something to do with it. But other than that, when she actually saw it's really going to happen, she was like, "You've been wanting to do this for so long," you know. And it's funny because everybody goes, "Oh, it looks like a real comic." I don't know what they expected from me.
Looks so good. To be honest, I when I watch the the campaign page. I can't believe it because the colors, all the brightness, all I think my works look so good with the colors from is Daniel Rodriguez or
Daniel Silva de la
Daniel
Rodriguez.
Silva?
Yeah.
Yes,
No relations. He's the colorist for Perfect 10 by
yes.
David Brink, Genuine Comics.
It looks
Like I
looks
said,
so good. Those pages look so good.
and Ron Mosicki, who's also has a campaign called Nano 13 that's active right now. He's drawing unheroic tales. So there's two artists, and then Oscar Carrena, who's friends of Renzo's. He's coloring unheroic tales, and he's also available for work if anybody needs. He's a good colorist. He's excuse me. He also did a fan art of the Patriarch. I put it on. But that might be like a pinup or something. But such good guys, everybody. Like I said, I assembled the Avengers, and we're ready to go. We're ready to fight Thanos.
I just found out the freeze layout I make for the
Yes, that was the original sketch.
yes the sketch for the passage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this lady is the Asian.
Oh, I'm gonna make that big. Look at that.
Yeah, is I have some problems because when I start in a sketch, I can stop, so I draw all the page, all the panel in one single sheet, and
Is that like is that a page from your comic? Is that or is that just a practice piece? Like
it's
gonna be that's a splash page in Thomas Valiant.
it starts like a just an exercise, and I can stop and I have to finish. But it's the panel one for the I think it's page 13 or 12.
That looks great.
Yes. But it's just one a panel, and I have to. I can't stop. I can't stop. So I start to make all them in little pieces and all the panels and yeah. Instead of doing in a single page, I start little by little and can't stop. Yes.
Nick is asking a question. How many hours a day do you draw? How many breaks do you take? And how do you maintain focus? Good question. See,
yes.
I don't know anything about artists. I don't know anything about anything.
Well, I try to make like some breaks because I have to go for my kid to the school, and I think I make like 12 hours
Wow.
by day, more or less 12, 10, 12 hours.
I don't want to kill you, Renzo. Take breaks.
No, no, no.
I'm not a bad guy. You need to watch a movie.
It's because I need to keep drawing. I can stop. I tell you when I start something, I can keep drawing and drawing till my brain just get off and and I get to sleep because I can stop. But it's my flow, my style flow, and
do your children draw too?
The oldest start to draw when he has 6, but any of the 3 children that I have, anyone they can draw but don't like the fact that to draw it. They prefer to keep playing video games or they are more leaning to make work on the video game industry more than a comic book or in fact they are his dream is to work on the video game industry, making all the platform, the software and all the stuff. Yeah, but art or comics, no way. That's no.
So I guess drawing these comics now is your full-time job, right?
Yes.
What did you do before comics?
I have a very safe job as a graphic designer on on a advertising office, and I leave all that to make the adventurers to start to draw comics, because that's my goal, my dream. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
you're good at it. I mean,
oh, thank you very much.
but it's brave. You know, I hated my job when I was 35 years old, and I changed my job. You know, and I thought I was a loser because I went back to the bottom tier of pay. You know, and I remember a couple of my friends were like, "No, I wish I was brave to change jobs." So I got to give you credit for you
that
know.
that was a very hard decision, because I have a very safe work, and then Cinescope give me the first chance to break in the comics, and I say, let me just taste the water to see if I can make it, and it was 2016, and the comics was very healthy. Well, more or less healthy. So Cenescope keep calling me, and I say, I put in the balance, and I say, maybe comics is my call, and I quit to my regular job and start making full time comics.
How
And
loud did your wife scream at you when you quit your job to
oh,
work?
it was like a month of cold ice treatment. But little by little, with my first check came from Cenescope, she said, maybe I can work out this.
Yeah, once you started getting paid, yeah, that changes lots of things.
Yes, because and that time the dollar was a little high than is today. Today a little low, but
Yeah,
um,
it's a little low over here too. So
yes, it was this year. This year start very negative, but little by little, I keep working, because I can get a little depressive with all the comics news and stuffs. And
yeah, well, I'm trying to keep good, happy, positive comics. That doesn't mean there's not going to be bad things. There's bad villains that do bad things, but comics are supposed to be fun,
yes,
in the mainstream it just doesn't seem to be fun. Although I do feel that there's a change going on. You know,
yes.
I think we're going to see the pendulum swing back the other way.
Yeah, but all the comics has as an industry that keep me a little depressed, because the creators and the fans. I try to keep in the center, but sometimes we can avoid all that negative. So that's why I leave a little all the social media, because I need to
Yeah.
keep relaxed.
Well, well, yeah, social media. I also think social media might be changing. Nick says that RJ's last video would disagree with me, but nobody watches RJ's videos, so yeah, I don't know. He may be right, he may be wrong. Who knows? It's a mystery. I'm not gonna go watch that nonsense. No, I watch every one of RJ's videos. I see like a return to some of these writers like DG Chichester, a name that I have difficult saying. I think that they get him. They get Louis Simonson. And I think that they're testing the waters. Like, how much money could they lose before? You know, I think even Hollywood is bottoming out. They're re-releasing classic movies because nobody like. I just saw Die Hard in the movie theaters a couple of months ago because there's nothing else playing in the movie theaters. So we're seeing movies from the 80s. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. But do you think we are on time to save all the industry? Sometimes I keep thinking, when I was. That's why I keep drawing, because if not, I get a little depressed, because
I I
sometimes I feel like we are we are a little too late.
yeah, the last couple of videos I got a little sad. RJ, tell me what you think about this. But I've been like, I was getting a little mad and emotional. I'm saying comics are dying. You know, who like with Vaughn Coleman. I had a chat with him the other day. He what is he, like 23 years old? He's got to be the youngest person I know who's into American comics. You know, anybody 30 years old and younger is reading manga, and manga's good. You know, there's a reason why people are reading it. They're not just reading it because they have no other choice. Manga is good. It, you know, these people didn't get destroyed by this woke virus yet. That still may happen in Japan, but you know, I sent out links to my campaign to all the conservative news sites. I'm like, I want you guys to know, like, I'm Renzo Rodriguez and myself. We're making a comic book. He's a conservative. He's a Christian. He's a patriot. He's a father. He's not a womanizer. He's a loving father. You guys are talking about like culture wars, stuff like that. Here's a guy. Here's a team that's making it. Let's see if they pick up on this. I think that would be a nice boost to try to stem the bleeding of the comic book industry. But yes, I do think something is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but I think we're reaching a pivotal point. Comics have to change, or they're done for. And will it just be like? And I think it's a shame. Like, could you? Now I'm rambling, but like jazz, baseball, and comic books are like the three American things that nobody could argue with. Like, do you imagine if baseball was dying, that nobody was going to baseball anymore, that the stadiums are empty, do you think all the baseball players would fight with each other? Start yelling, or they have exhibition shows and go to children's schools and teach people how to play baseball. I'd like to think that the baseball players would have the wherewithal to unite and say, why can't comic book people do it? Why are we all fighting with each other? And even in our group, they're fighting, and I just don't understand it. So I don't participate. So what Renzo says is he gets off social media. I kind of like, I see it, but I focus on it.
I'm trying to get back to the tweet X at least.
Yeah, the few against the many. Yeah. They didn't pick up the article because they found out you do a live stream with the Canadian Communist. Yeah. Sorry, RJ. Commies.
Well, honestly, I am pretty negative. I'll give you that. I'll give you that right now.
Well, you rightfully
with my
smarter than me. Maybe I'm too dumb.
No, it's just my weekend stuff. But that's why I do this on Wednesdays, is because it's a balance out. This is the positive side of my week. As compared to
I really feel bad for you if I'm your positive side. Poor guy. Guys, we're gonna have we're gonna have a GoFundMe for RJ's therapist. I don't know. I say it all the time. I love comic books. It's my favorite medium. Like, comic books don't need to be movies. They don't need to be Netflix. They're perfect as is. But if they do become movies, I want them slavishly. I understand things do have to change, but as long as the changes make sense, I don't know. Like the guys at work, like, are they going to make a movie about your comic book? I'm like, if they do, I want a little bit of this. Get Renzo a little bit of this.
Yeah.
But better believe I'm not just going to sell the rights. I want, like, the guy Renzo could play the patriarch. There we go.
No, I don't care.
We get those trainers. If they could make that Indian guy from the Eternals look buff, they could.
Yeah. I think all the stuff with the movies and all the Big Bang Theories show and all that stuff, just I don't think that helps to the comic sales, because that was another bubble that created, and not the comic fans. So I don't think my main idea is that movies and TV shows don't help too much to the comics. More or less, they are helping to the Hollywood industry to create new IPs. But on the comic, I
agree with you. The comic book, the Avengers movies didn't bring people into the comic book stores.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did RJ, did Marvel fumble this? Is it just no? I don't know. Like,
I don't know
I'm
either, but it seems like honestly, this is the way it goes, and it's even with us and with Comicsgate and everybody around us. But whenever you try to talk somebody, if they're if they're above you in status, if they're above you and making money, they don't care about anybody at the bottom. They don't want to go the other direction. They want to go up. Everybody wants to go up all the time. So I think that's why, in part, anyways, that comics didn't get the boost that everyone expected with the movies and things like that, because they're trying to upsell, they're trying to get more and more money out of these things. And you saw it all the time with the Marvel Twitter site and all the stuff that I went over in my videos, but they were always trying to make more and more. It wasn't, let's go back and see what we can make with this small industry. So that's my take.
Yeah, I know the superhero movies. Yeah, I know people don't like when I say this, but I didn't like Endgame. To me, that was the beginning of the end. Like Infinity War, I thought was excellent, and Endgame I didn't like. It was a bad time travel story. I'm like unforgiving when it comes to bad time travel. But Mike Bukowski says he thinks it's video games. I already see video game movies fumbling. So they tried manga and they messed that up so bad on Netflix, with the Cowboy Bebop and these horrible. So, and now they're already messing up video games. So I don't know. Like, could there be original IPs or whatever? I mean, they're doing good on Amazon. I think Invincible's pretty good.
Honestly, I was thinking, here's the thing. So I watch these reaction channels every once in a while, and there was this woman who just got into Batman. She played the Batman games, and she had never seen Batman, like the new Batman movies that came out. And she was watching them, and she was just geeking out about them because she learned so much about Batman, reading comics and playing games and all that kind of stuff. And she was saying this little bit here is a callback to that comic, and this little bit here. Most people don't realize that when they make a movie like Batman today, you got 70 years worth of history to draw off of, 70 years worth of good stories that you can pick out tiny little things and the best parts of every one to make something hugely spectacular. So people don't get that comics had to make this spectacular movie what it is with a couple of lifetimes worth of comics.
Well, Michael says the rumors Netflix is going to do a live action Scooby-Doo, but the guys behind the live action count. You know what? I don't care because I know guys get mad. I never liked Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, like as a kid, I was like, this story doesn't make sense. How this guy couldn't possibly have done this because he was over here. This story, but I watched Scooby-Doo because it was always on. But I never liked Scooby-Doo. I like Johnny Quest, but I love the Venture Brothers, but I don't like Scooby-Doo. Movies almost never respect the lore. So, Renzo, I'll promise you that I know you're a big Batman fan. Issue 3 of Heroic Tales. I actually wrote it as a Batman script for the Ultimate Batman movie. That's never going to happen. So it's going to be the Ultimate Batman movie in a comic book form. It's going to be a horror movie. You got to amp up the violence and the gore. You're going to love it. And hot chick, there's going to be a hot chick girl.
Nice. I have my first attempt to draw Batman with Kid Fox story. I have 26 pages of pure fun, pure action. So I have to thank to. I am very grateful with RJ for making this dream for me.
That's right. RJ, you said that Renzo pressured you. Renzo drove from Mexico to Canada, showed up at the cave where RJ sets up his remote radar station and punched RJ, said, you're making a Kit Fox story.
Well, we're on the first arc. So Redemption of Kit Fox, for those people who don't know, in the Valiant Heroes, which is the campaign that we're shipping right now. That's
it's shipping.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's the first part of 3. Basically, we have the comic that Renzo did for it, because there's 3 stories. So it's the first part of Redemption of Kit Fox. Second part goes into Valiant Heroes number 2, which Renzo is working on right now, because Kit Fox is in that as well. And then after that, we'll be doing another Kit Fox backup story as the conclusion of the redemption of this character. So we're taking our time in redeeming this character to make sure that he's something more than just an anti-hero or a villain, which is what he was portrayed as in Thomas Valiant number 1.
Michael says, I thought RJ lived in Michigan. Well, there's Bigfoot sightings in Portland, Michigan, and parts of Canada. That's all I'm going to say about where RJ lives.
I flip and flop all over the place. Just to let you know, Michael, I can live here, I can live there. Depends on what I want to do.
Yeah, and if you take pictures of him, he's always blurry. It's just I like Scooby Doo, but he's the least favorite. I just don't like Scooby Doo. It's I don't know. Maybe I take it back. I'm talking about the original Hanna-Barberas from the early '70s. I stopped watching them. Maybe they're good mysteries now. That makes sense. There's a reason. There must be a reason why it has staying power. I just don't like it. The Valiant Heroes, yes, yeah. I didn't know you were shipping. That is so exciting. Great. Renzo.
Yes.
Is superheroes your favorite genre to draw? Or would you rather be drawing westerns or wars or love stories?
Well, I was thinking that another day because I just realized that my favorite genre is just draw comics because I've been drawing Hawaiian style chicks with the Connie Waves comic.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
I love draw that. I love draw space adventures with Jaboisak with and
you did like Viking stuff with Viking Wolf.
Viking Wolf. So my favorite is just draw comics. So I have no favorite genre.
Let me ask you for a spoiler alert for 52 people and RJ and Renzo. How do you like to draw dinosaurs?
Yeah. Since I was a kid, I always loved to draw tyrannosaurs and all this.
Okay, because I think issue 5 is going to be called "Let's Save the Dinosaurs."
Cool. Love
Sick
it.
art, Renzo. Yeah, Renzo.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Did Renzo work on POD? What was POD? That was your boy Zach's comic, right?
That was
POD.
POD.
I did, but my adult brain is not working. If I remember that was one of the Splato comics, and you worked with your boy Zach. You did Impossible Stars, right?
Yeah, Impossible Stars. Sorry, I was blank on my mind because I forget the name of the Impossible Stars.
And yeah, that's right. You worked with Chuck Dixon.
Yes. Well, that was one of my wildest dream because when I was kid, teenager, I read all the Batman saga, all the when Bane break his back and all the stuff.
How is it getting the script from like, oh my god, I'm from Chuck Dixon. I'm drawing a Chuck Dixon.
Pretty cool because he make me how I put it's like reading a movie because he sometimes put some examples, some pictures, and it's very have a lot of details on his script. But it's very it's very fluid. So he's a very cool writer.
He's been writing comics for, I think he said 38 years. You got to know what you're doing. I think after the first 20,
Yeah. Love it. It's one of the best writers. So I never get bored. It's always the pace, he's pretty cool writer.
Now, you got two writers over here whose comics that you're both working on, me, Heroic Tales and RJ, you got the Valiant Heroes. Who sends you like more detailed scripts? I mean, it's not a contest.
No, I think you both are in the same, but just is a little different because
he probably spells the words right.
No, I don't.
No, it's with RJ. It's very how can I say? He has all the details and also attached sometimes the pictures. Like
you said reference pictures. I only said drawings of characters.
No, don't worry. It's but I don't know. Maybe the structure is a little different, but are on the same description level because I can read very good all the both of you. So I haven't
Yeah,
I have
because
no problem with any of you.
we traded phone numbers. We talk to each other, not every day, but we talk a lot. And you never really ask for clarifications on the script. And then when I see the pages, I'm like, that is exact. Like the first, I think you sent like 3 pages all at once. The first 3 pages. I got my wife and I'm like, look, and she's like, okay, yeah, that's nice. Like she didn't realize that it was my comic because it was so good. She's like, oh, that's your comic. I'm like, this is exactly what I was like. I was showing her the script, and then when we got 5 pages, I told my wife, because there's no lettering, I said, tell me the story. And she's like, what do you mean tell me the story? I'm like, just tell me what's going on in this comic. And she was able to, from 5 pages, no words, explain what was going on. Because that's storytelling. You have excellent storytelling.
No, thank you very much. All those years of watching movies really pay off.
That's one. Yeah, John, honey, look at it. And she's like, not again. No, the comic script. Yeah, because that's one of my big pet peeves is bad storytelling in comic books. Like, I hate to bash on Howard Chaykin, because Howard Chaykin is a living legend. But if you take out the words for American Flag, you don't have no idea. It's static images, But you look at Renzo Rodriguez, it flows. You can see what's going on, and it's not just the same. You got up, you got down, you got different points of view. You do a real. So you obviously you read comics as a kid.
Yes. I always. In fact, I just stopped like 5 years ago because all the amount of work that I have no time to read more comics. But I have a lot of comics here, and but yeah, since I was like 5 years old. In fact, I start to reading with the Spider-Man, with the issue with the Punisher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first comic.
That was your first comic?
Yeah, but the Mexican edition. so
what did they call the Punisher in Mexico?
El Castigador, or the most common name was El Matador. El Matador.
El Matador?
Yes, like the killer.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what Matador means? Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yes.
Yeah, the killer.
El Matón. El Matón. It was El Matón.
Oh. What about Spider-Man? What was he in Mexico?
El Hombre Araña. El Hombre Araña.
I love that. My friend, one of my partners at work, he grew up in the Dominican Republic, and he said Wolverine was called El Vibro.
Oh, El Vibro.
El Vibro.
Wolverine has a lot of names here in Mexico, because with the show of the cartoon show, it was Gepardo. Gepardo was one. In the comics was Gloton, and in Spain was Aguja Vibrante, something like that.
I love that stuff.
Yes.
I love seeing the English from England versions of the comics, because it's collected of, like, John Romita and John Buscema artwork, but then the cover is by a local British artwork. And England, they say that England is a country separated by a common language, that you can always tell English artwork. It's like it's just so different. And then when I saw, I forget who it was showing me Mexican comics. One of my buddies went to Mexico, and I love the excuse me. You could see the American style, you could see the British style, and you could see and then you open it up and it's reprinted, translated. But it's just so great. I love those covers. Somebody just said, would I want comics from Mexico? Yes, I would. I love comics from everywhere. That would be so cool to have Mexican editions of comics. And yes, Renzo, did you tell me that there was a Spider-Man comic with Gwen Stacy?
Was I don't know. It was like a secret issues, because I don't know if it has to be with the copyright, but a Mexican artist make his own version, but was because the publisher, the Mexican publisher that reprint the Marvel comic books, make his own tales, his own stories, and then they make a lot of stories with Gwen Stacy. I don't know if he. I think in USA, Gwen dies, but here in Mexico, she keeps living like more years. So because the
Now we
new
get to say it's another multiverse,
yeah, it was a
And Mexico did first because she's alive again in the comics. So there you
yeah,
go.
it was before my time, so I don't have all the clear
What,
story.
what are comic books called in Mexico? Or the Spanish word for comic books?
Uh, uh, well, when I was a little kid, it was revistas.
Okay.
But in the 90s, with all the boom, all the comic, it started to call it comics, just
Okay.
comics, because they start to separate the comics from the graphic novels and the all the magazines, the Vanity and Cosmopolitan and all the magazines, because it was all revistas
Revistas. Okay.
yeah.
RJ, what do they call comic books in Canada?
I
John is planning. I would love to. I said this to Renzo that
Yeah.
if we make like, I don't know, my comic makes like $15,000, I'm flying Renzo out here. We're gonna fulfill an autograph comics and treat him to good New York pizza, and I just think that would be so much fun. So there we go, guys. That's an unofficial official stretch goal. 15,000, Renzo comes to New York. We sign comics. We go to a comic convention. 100,000, we all play role playing games together. We get Reenie from Fiendish. We get all these people coming and play games. Comic books are called comic pucks. Yes. Comic books they're called Canadian bacon for some strange reason. Yeah, they're called comics. RJ, you don't do the A thing. That's more of like a central Canada. My wife used to do it. She's from Winnipeg.
Oh no, I don't really have an accent. I usually my New England accent left me long and ever ago. So
What 50, my wife said that. She goes, I said 50K. I'll shave my beard live. I'll go to the barber. I'll turn on and we'll do the beard live. How's that, Master Hobo? If you're gonna dream big. But yeah, and I tell you guys, all the money's gonna go into other comics. My wife is yelling at me. She's watching. She goes, I don't say A. Oh, my wife is yelling. He probably does say A. He just doesn't realize it. Because my wife swore she didn't. And then we were at I forget if it was Christmas or Thanksgiving. My family started laughing every time she said A. So my poor wife just stopped talking. I'm getting yelled at from upstairs. I feel like Cheers, Norm, when you never see his wife, you just hear her. So I talk way too much as normal. Anybody want to say anything?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. I think I'm a little rusty. I need to keep to keep practice my English. So I hope that it wasn't any boring at all.
Oh no. First off, Renzo's a saint. And second off, it made me feel bad that you're working 12 hours a day.
It's because that's my life. Because I need it. It's like a drug. I have no issues with drugs or alcohol or smoking. Maybe that is my
That's it. Yeah,
my drug.
your vice is your art. The only comment Renzo said is sorry this took so long. There's so many robot ants. What do we got here? My dad's cousin grew out his beard for a whole year before his high school year to play prank on all of them. That's funny. I go to work one day with guys at work. I've never seen me without a beard. That would be funny, just to show up without a beard, just stand in the corner and be quiet.
Nice.
So Renzo, your comic is delivering. I mean, RJ, your comic is delivering.
Yes. Yeah, we're shipping out right now, so you should be getting your copy in the next couple of weeks, John. I'm sure that it'll be. I don't even know what tier you got, John, but whatever. I'll have to look it up and see. We'll probably upgrade you.
Oh wow, thank you. Are you fulfilling yourself, or are you using a service?
No, I'm doing it myself because actually I swore I wouldn't do it myself this time, but basically it's about half the work it was from last time. So that I could do half, right?
Yeah, I set a goal for myself that, you know, if I hit this number, I'll go with critical blast. I haven't hit that number yet, so as of now, I'm gonna fulfill my. But I'm thinking like, you know, I got time off from work. I'll ask for a furlough, take time off, and fulfill the comics. And if we do hit like a reasonable number, have Renzo come out to New York. That would be so much fun. Get you some good pizza.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I was going to say. That you know these it's weird. It's a weird comic book thing, but you know, bagging comics and boarding comics, and it's just like part of life, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't see it as work. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's funny because before my wife and I got married, she came out here for a while, and I was sitting in the apartment on the floor bagging and boarding comics. You know, and she was watching something on TV, and she would just look. She goes, "I like when you do that." She goes, "You have such good energy." So, you know, now we have the house. Years later, 20 years later, you know, she's sitting over there. Oh, I scared away Renzo. She's watching TV over there, and I'm on the table bagging and boarding comics, and I'm whistling while I do it, alphabetizing them. It is such a comic book thing. Like if you're into comic books, you know, you're one of these people who are like, we need more representation, and we need more of this, and we need more of that. Do you enjoy bagging boarding comics? If you say no, then I don't want to hear what you say. That's like such a fundamental part of comics.
That's part of the thing what I was talking about at the first, where we now have them printed in floppy format for the Valiant Heroes, since it's 3 stories, and they're 26 pages each, roughly. So I printed them in floppies as well, so people could have them in floppies. We only got about 100 orders for each of the floppies, so there's about 300 comics. But really, holding an actual comic in my hand instead of a graphic novel it's amazing. It is an amazing feeling.
Everybody says that when they get their comic book in their hand, it's almost like a religious experience. And oh yeah, Renzo says he lost his thing. He warned beforehand, so he sent me a message. Everything's okay. He just has bad internet hookup. So maybe he'll come back. Maybe he won't. But I just glad he's okay. No Godzilla's attacking. But yes, I know it's. Everybody tells me it's going to be great, and I'm psyching myself up. But I think I'm gonna. I tend to play things down. I think I'm gonna get like emotional when I get my own comic book in my hand. You know, my sister's freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god, my brother's making a comic book!" Oh. And she hates comic books.
I was just at the printers when I picked up all of the Valiant Hero stuff from the printers. I got it all in the van, and I grabbed 3 boxes and just grabbed my knife and opened up. You know, I'm pulling these out in the car as soon as I can get them, as soon as I can look at them, read them. I wanted to sit there in the parking lot and read through the entire thing. It's like, no, I need to get moving.
Vaz says, you play board games, you sleeve your cards, you click on. I don't sleeve my cards in board games, believe it or not. I find it hard to shuffle, so I don't. But I don't play. I have so many board games. I don't play them enough that my cards get destroyed. Maybe a few games. But to be honest, I don't think I enjoy bagging and boarding. But I do like when it's. I like bagging and boarding. I'm going through my boxes and you know I got a scanner. You know, so I scan them into my database. You know, and then because my now it's making noise, but my database crashed, so I use Comic Base, I think it's called, and I enjoy it. And then I go in the back room where all my comic books are. I put the boxes in alphabetical order, but I slowed down doing it because I had the hernia surgery, so I took some time off, and then I got lazy. Now I got to get back to doing it. That's leaving your cards heresy. I know.
So basically, you're like me, John. You have a comic book injury. I injured myself. Was when I was doing the Thomas Valiant fulfillment. I was walking down the stairs with a giant box of them in my hands, and I missed a step, and I screwed up my knee.
Oh my god! Yeah. Well, I can't say just my comic book injury. I'm a construction worker. We're lifting galvanized steel pipes all the time. People think electrician. They think I'm in a nice building changing ballast. Now I'm a construction electrician. There's a dirt field. The first thing you got to do is dig trenches and put these big 5 to 6 inch galvanized steel pipes into the ground. That's got to get there. It's got to get leveled, and then they fill in the dirt. Then they dig out another 100 feet. We do that, constantly.
New York everything is underground, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. It's funny because comic book people draw power lines, but I don't think there's been power lines in Manhattan since the 30s. I think there was a snowstorm, and it caused things to collapse, and it killed a bunch of people. So all power lines have to be under the street. And I remember I was arguing with one of my friends. He goes, "No, I've seen power lines." I said, "You see tension lines. There's little metal wires that go across. What they do is they hold up poles. They create tension. And then if you go to Brooklyn and the Orthodox Jewish areas, my union does this because it's wires. They put wires around neighborhoods, and those are the magic lines that you could go on the Sabbath. You can't cross those. Those are like border lines for jurisdictions for temples or whatever. So those are the lines that God will permit you to walk on the Sabbath. I don't understand. I'm not Orthodox Jewish, but it's paid work. So I ain't gonna argue. So that's what you see, but you don't see power lines. And in parts of Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, you do see it, but they're kind of moving away. Even Long Island, you see power lines, but just down the block from me, it's all underground. But where I live, because I wanted to get a cheaper house, it's all above ground. But yeah, California, because I don't think California has the population density that New York City has. Even LA has a lot of land, so there's a lot of sprawl. But Manhattan is really small geographically, and there's I don't know, like it's like 2 miles wide and 10 miles long, and I think like Mexico City and like Brasilia are like maybe Tokyo now are like the only denser places. But so laymen don't know power lines from phone lines. Yes, there are phone lines because they're not high voltage. They're super low voltage. I know. We turn this into electrical hour over here.
Well, on that note, John, I'm going to have to jump off because my stream starts in 3 minutes.
Yeah, your stream starts in 3 minutes. Everybody, we got 56 people. Let's go to the 4th age. We'll have a long box raid. That's the new thing now. We send everybody. So go into RJ's chat on the 4th age and shout long box raid, and then RJ's in on the joke, so it won't be that funny. But let's do it anyway. I'm going to go there too. All right, guys. All right. Thanks. I'll say goodbye for Renzo. He was worried about his internet conking out. So thanks, Renzo. Thanks, RJ. And we'll see you next week on RJ's channel for Comic Book Team Up. See ya. Thanks. And back Crom the Destroyer and Heroic Tales. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.